In this presentation, we will look into 5 essentials of effective instructional design. The presence of instructional design in online learning programs can be gauged by asking questions like, how is the content structured and chunked into modules? What types of examples are used to simplify the content? How animations and videos have been used? Are there practical exercises and assessments? Does the course engage the learners and sustain their interest? Is the course design compatible with the learning delivery systems? Effective instructional design positively answers all of these questions and many more. Design in any domain makes things presentable and usable. Good design combines aesthetics with functional value. A chair that is beautifully designed will be of no use if we are unable to sit on it comfortably. In e-learning too, design, especially instructional design, plays a critical role in enhancing the efficiency of a learning program. The effectiveness of learning is often attributed to sound instructional design. In this presentation, we will look into the 5 essential attributes of effective instructional design for online learning. These include holistic and reflective approach to design, expectation management, use of theoretical insights, process orientation, and scope for interaction and collaboration. Let's begin with holistic and reflective approach to design. Instructional design process involves interaction between people, content, and technology, and different stages of the process are interdependent. Here we need to consider the big picture by understanding the implications of design on different aspects such as content readiness, user experience, visual strategy, use of tools for development, availability of talent, budgetary constraints, and of course the time frame. Hence, making decisions at every stage of design calls for proper thinking and reflection. The instructional designers have to constantly make connections with the decisions made and not limit their role to structuring the content, developing an instructional strategy, creating storyboards, and so on. This is because they not only design the learning program but anchor it from concept to execution and delivery. Now let's move on to expectation management. Effective instructional design has a lot to do with how we manage expectations from different stakeholders. What do the learners want and how can we design the content to meet their requirements? What do the SMEs expect from the course? What about the decision makers, like the clients or training managers? Are we setting the right expectations? The best way to deal with this issue is to create a demo or a prototype and get their approval. This can be done with the help of the subject matter expert. While working on the prototype, we can also get inputs from the client and other key people. In fact, the prototype can be tested with the learners and their feedback can be taken into consideration. In this way, we get to involve all the stakeholders right at the beginning of the design phase and get their buy-in to move on with the development. Now let's look at the importance of theoretical insights. Effectiveness is also about knowing why we do what we do and how it can be done better. Theoretical knowledge is of immense importance here. You may consider, is it necessary to have a background in learning theories and educational psychology for designing the content? What if we depend on our intuition and experience and won't this compensate for the knowledge? Well, not really. Effective instructional design demonstrates applications of principles of learning and a consideration for learning preferences while designing the content. This may need awareness about how learning happens, what motivates the learners, how a particular type of content can be taught, what examples would help in illustrating the content, and most importantly, distinguish between adults and children and their learning styles, and how theoretical concepts from behaviorism, cognitivism, and constructivism work differently for different learner groups. Next important factor is process orientation. Systematic planning, project management, well-defined processes, all these are critical factors in enhancing the value of instructional design and improving learning efficiency. These attributes assume greater significance with the size and scope of the project. Let's assume that we are following the popular ADDIE model for design and development. The linearity of the model itself will establish a process. For example, it is essential to conduct a thorough analysis before going ahead with the actual content design. However, in most cases, the process becomes iterative and we should plan and accommodate for flexibility. Another important aspect of process orientation is quality and consistency. With proper checklists, review schedules, we can maintain high quality and strive for consistency and build a good evaluation mechanism for taking learner feedback and also evaluate the ROI on the learning programs. The last important point is about scope for interaction and collaboration. Today, online learning is closely tied up with scope for interaction and collaboration on the web. Does your design allow interaction and collaboration while learning? This can be learning through different modes like from the desktop or from mobile and handheld devices. This is an important question, especially in the context of the potential social dimension of the internet has for learning and knowledge sharing. As we know today, all our online transactions have become social and most of them have even become mobile. The social media has popularized a different culture of learning and information sharing on the web. It would be good to consider these aspects while designing the content. Can we integrate social media channels like Facebook for effective learning? Would it be possible to include other channels to make learning a collaborative experience? Answers to questions such as these will bring in innovative ways of facilitating learning. With this, we come to the end of the presentation on some essential attributes of effective instructional design. Do you have any other points to share? Please mail them at mdube09@gmail.com. Thanks for watching my presentation.